Hasn't been bright in a while.
Good morning. If everyone could take their seats, we'll go ahead and get started. I don't want to get in trouble with Jess, so please take your seats. Oh, thank you. Good morning. My name is Kalanit Balas, and I am the president and CEO of the ALS Association in the United States. I also have the honor of being the chair of the International Alliance for ALS and MND organizations. Some of us have been here for 2 days, so you have seen me plenty. I apologize for being back on stage once again. And those of you who have joined us, welcome. We've had a tremendous couple of days. I think you're going to be hearing a lot about it. So first, I have the honor and a little bit of fear of acknowledging that we are located on unceded indigenous lands. I love that your country does this. I think this is so beautiful. So, the Kanien'kehá:ka Nation is recognized as the custodians of the lands and the waters on which we gather today. Tiohtià:ke, or Montreal, historically known as a gathering place for many First Nations. Today, it is home to a diverse population of Indigenous and other peoples. We respect the continued connections with the past, present, and future in our ongoing relationships with the Indigenous and other peoples within and around the Montreal community. We recognize that our virtual participants may be joining from other territories. Thank you. I encourage you to take a moment to acknowledge and celebrate the diversity of the Indigenous people and their cultures and connections to your lands and your waters. I think this is such a beautiful way to open up a conference and a conversation that is really about a global community coming together in ways that how can we help people living with ALS and MND, how can we cure it, how can we help people live a better quality of life? And I know that's going to be the conversation over the next couple of days. I've often said, let me ask, how many people, is this their first APF conference that you're? Welcome, my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, give them a round of applause. That's great. So I encourage our veterans to find our newbies and really get to know each other. Our veterans will know that I often say, when we start to move from the International Alliance meeting into this part of the meeting, I always feel like I'm walking into a room where I'm gonna get a really big hug, because the individuals in this room are caring in a very different way for people with ALS and their entire ecosystem. And you're gonna hear that over the next couple days. So let me tell you a little bit about the International Alliance for those who are new to the room. We are a membership organization of organizations around the globe. We have over 60 members from over 35 countries, and we're trying to cover the entire globe. We're getting there. We pull together resources, we're a conduit of information, and really what we're trying to do is to push forward information that both our members and our community can use inside their own countries and their own cultures. And that's what this portion of the meeting is about, is exchanging information, learning from each other, not duplicating our resources, but trying to figure out what's happening in that country or that province that might work in my backyard, or maybe I could modify it. And so this is really about exchanging information, learning from each other, and having a lot of fun. So, which I think there's gonna be some later, right, Sarah? Okay, Sarah's promised me some fun later. All right, so with that, thank you so much for showing your commitment. I know people have come from near and very, very far, so if you have jet lag, no one is going to judge you at all. Just drink some more caffeine and everything will be just fine. And now I'd like to turn it over to our moderators, the fabulous Sarah Feldman and Rachel Marsden to get the 2024 APF Forum started.
Thank you so much, Colony. And she said so much of what Rachel and I both talked about this morning and really feel every time we come here, so we don't actually have to repeat that. So thank you. Yes. My name is Sarah Feldman. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA. Yes, thank you. Go Birds. And I work at the MDA ALS Center of Hope, which is at Temple University. And Rachel and I were also discussing my first APF was in 2004 when it was in Philadelphia. Go ahead, tell them when you started.
Hi, I'm Rachel Marsden. I am the consultant nurse, and I work in Oxford. And I'm really happy to say that for the first time ever, my entire team is here. So, welcome. And Sarah and I are really very honored to be your joint moderators throughout this next 2 days. It's 2002 was my first symposium. So we've been joint moderating now for the last four years, and I'm really very excited to welcome. We have over 300 people attending today, both here and online.
So as the veterans, we welcome all the new people, and we're very pleased to see you all here. So I have the housekeeping notes, so I have to put on my glasses for this. So the entirety of the conference will be conducted live in person, but also virtually online. So we encourage people who are in the room to go ahead and join so that you can chat with the people who are online. And this is on FeedLoop. You should have received the login instructions email a few weeks ago. You will want to open it up on your laptop or desktop if you're at home, in a Chrome browser so that you get the best experience with it. If you do open the app here, you will get to be able to chat with everyone, but you won't have the video content. This platform does have accessibility features for individuals who require. So if you move your cursor to the top of the screen on the right, you'll see that little person symbol, the symbol for accessibility. And if you click the drop down, you'll find adjustments that can make your experience more comfortable. We are also offering translation services through Wordly. So you'll find there should be a flyer of instructions on your table for that, or in the FeedLoop platform. And I will tell you that I have used it over the past 2 days when I was looking at it online, and it does help. Well, you weren't here. So, after the presentations, there will be a brief question and answer period. To ask a question, please raise your hand and a microphone will be brought to you. Thank you to ALS Quebec for the volunteers today. We appreciate it. If you are virtual, put your questions in the chat. However, given that it's a very tight program, we might not get to all the questions. If you don't get your questions addressed, you can message the speakers through the event platform. You could also connect with your fellow participants this way. Rachel and I do try to keep this very on time. If you haven't been here before, we are not being rude. We will be coming up here right before the speakers are done to give them a little bit of time, but just so you are aware. If you've been here before, you know that. So for you, those of us joining in person, you'll also notice that the International Alliance staff will be periodically having a tripod set up by the March of Faces banner. And I'd like to ask all of you to participate over the next 2 days in short interviews. She'll do about a 30-second interview with you about what you think about the program, how you like being here and all that. And that really helps us spread the word about this program. So we really would like you to participate in that. And finally, for both in person and virtually, If you have any questions throughout the conference, if you require any assistance, please find one of the ALS staff or volunteers, or if you're virtual, click on the tech support button on the left-hand side near the bottom of your screen.
Thank you, Sarah. And I think that's all of our housekeeping things. You had the good job. But now we're going to move on. While we have your attention, we just really wanted to thank individuals and teams who helped put this event together. And first, we'd like to thank the Alliance team for putting such a fantastic program together for you. And we'd like to thank Kathy and Angeline and Jess and Martina, Janelle, Julia, Liana, David and Lynn. So thank you all very much for all your hard work. We'd also like to thank the AV team and the Sheraton staff for helping and support this, keeping this as smooth as possible. So thank you to them. And finally, we'd like to extend a really big thank you to all of the sponsors this year. The diamond sponsor is MT Pharma America, along with MT Pharma Canada, and they'll be supporting and sponsoring the reception this evening after this event. Our gold sponsor is Novartis, and the silver sponsors are Biogen, Bristol Myers Squibb, and Regeneron. And we have so many bronze sponsors, and I would also like to thank Denali Therapeutics, Ionis Pharmaceuticals, Qualaris, and Zambon Biotech. So thank you all to them. And there are more. Praline, Sanofi, Unicor, Les Turner Foundation, and the ALS Hope Foundation. Thanks, Sarah. Foundella, the MND Fight, and ProBed, and Your ALS Guide. So thank you to everybody for all the help and support, and we really we're very grateful to that. So thank you once again.
All right, so before we move on, I have one more announcement. There's something new we're doing this year. This year we're having a raffle with donated prizes. You'll find these near the registration desk. You buy your tickets, you put them in the boxes in front of the prize that you'd like to win, and we'll announce the winners at the close of the day tomorrow. All money raised goes towards the Alliance programming, that includes people living with ALS and their caregivers. Tickets are 10 for 10 pounds, or a deal where you get 30 for 20 pounds. Credit cards only. Please note, you do have to be here to win. Now, I would like to present this year's March of Faces. If you've seen the March of Faces banners in the foyer, you'll know that this is a visual display of the courageous people, both past and present, with ALS-MND. As I said, you can see the March of Faces banners here today, but we also have a video that will be posted to the Alliance's website following this meeting. It helps, again, in our goal to raise awareness and support our advocacy efforts, and it's a powerful reminder of our collective vision, a world free of ALS-MND. So please join me in watching this year's video.
In the stillness of the night, a battle rages on. A silent enemy creeping in and stealing song. It takes control. The body weakens day by day, but still the spirit fights, searching for a way. Through trembling hands and weakened limbs, we find the strength to cope. The journey may be long, but love will give us hope. In every step we take, in every breath we breathe, together we will face this, no matter what's decreed. We won't let keep standing tall. For in the face of ALS, love conquers all. Conquers all. Through trembling hands and weakened limbs, we find the strength to cope. The journey may be long, but love will give us hope. In every step we take, in every breath we breathe, together we will face this, no matter what's decreed. We won't let go, we won't give in. Though the road is tough, we will rise again. With every beat of our hearts, we'll keep standing tall. For in the face of ALS, love conquers all. Conquers all.
And now I understand why it was so difficult for Sarah to speak after this, having last year. So just looking at those faces, every single one of those faces has a story, an extraordinary story. And just think about those as we talk about the things for the next 2 days. The music that you heard in the background was written by our very own Alpa Kaypa, who is somebody living with ALS MND in Turkey. And he created these words, and in order to recognize the loved ones who have been hit by this terrible disease. And he wrote the lyrics, and the music was created by Sinu, AI support. And it's an amazing technology to allow such an activity to put the words and music together to make something so beautiful and moving for us all to enjoy. So moving swiftly on, I'd like to introduce a short tribute to one of our courageous people living with ALS MND, Ewan MacDonald, who is from Scotland. Sadly, Ewan passed away on the 21st of August, having been diagnosed with ALS MND in 2003. Following his diagnosis, Ewan and his father, Donald, resolved to do whatever they could to make and ensure ALS MND research has the attention it deserves. So Ewan went on to found 2 charities, and also inspire the University of Edinburgh to spin out a company. Ewan was an inspiration to many. And we'd like now to play you a short video to recognize the contribution that he created and with his father, the MacDonald Centre, on behalf of the ALS MND community in Scotland and beyond.
It's because of dedication of people like you and that we have made progress and continued moving as one global force towards our vision of a world free of ALS-MND. Another role I have at the International Alliance is to chair the PALS and CALS Advisory Council to the Alliance. The PALS and CALS Advisory Council has also made this final video to show you this morning to welcome you all to this conference.
Thank you to all allied health professionals for your care, dedication, and hard work. You bring light to a very difficult situation by focusing on what we can do and not what we cannot do. We appreciate you.
Hello, everyone. I want to take a moment to express my sincere appreciation for each of you. Your dedication to helping me maintain my strength and independence has been truly invaluable. And I'm so grateful your unwavering support. Thanks to your expertise and gentle care, I feel stronger and more capable each day, despite my physical challenges. With the assistive technology you introduced me, I can communicate more freely and feel connected to life. Your impact has extended beyond physical well-being, helping me feel that I belong. I have lived longer than I expected with ALS. Without your support, I wouldn't have come this far. Life is neither good nor bad. I learned to cope with real life, that I feel belong in the world together with you. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart.
Dear friends and professionals around the world, if it was not for you, I would be like a leaf blowing in the wind. I would have no place to go and no one to keep me alive, because it's different to be living than surviving. We want to thank you for helping us live, not just to survive. Thank you and welcome. And we welcome you to ask your Mikul around all the participants. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Orlando Ruiz, and I'm a member of the Peacock. As a person living with ALS, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to each of you for your dedication and unwavering support. Your expertise and tireless efforts make an immeasurable difference in the lives of individuals like me, and I am truly thankful for all that you do. The work you carry out, whether in research, treatment, or care, offers hope to so many of us and our families. It's also a powerful symbol of the global community working together to improve the lives of people living with ALS-MND. Thank you for your commitment and for always striving to make a better tomorrow.
Without the amazing support of a dedicated allied health team, I would not be where I am today. Thanks for everything you do.
I would like to welcome all allied health professionals who are attending this year's Allied Professional Forum, either in person or virtually. Unfortunately, I can't attend this year, but I hope that you will all gain a lot of information and camaraderie from the event, and you realize the importance that you all play in your roles to people with ALS, MND, and their caregivers.
So just a reminder of why you're here today and why everyone does what they do, and just a thank you from the PCAC in case you feel like you're not getting thanked enough, or you are wondering if what you're doing is making a difference, and they're letting you know that yes, it does. And so now, we thank you all very much for joining us, and we are about to start the fabulous program.
So for our first session, I'd like to welcome Sarah Solomon and Marcela Santos, and they're going to be talking about who's who and who can help you. Let's connect.
I don't know if you thought this through. You put a Colombian and an Australian to start the session, so get ready, everybody.
Both of us talk very quickly with our hands. We promise. We have a person telling us if we talk too fast, we'll be okay.
We'll do our best.
I think both of us are very passionate about the idea of connection, and certainly through the Allied Health meeting, the Alliance meeting over the last few days, the theme very strongly came through about the idea of connection, global connection. There are so many people doing so many wonderful things around the world. And we really want to make sure that the people that are doing the things are connecting with their colleagues throughout the world. So we're not having to reinvent the wheel every time some new initiative comes out. I think one of the things about these forums is that either virtual or in person, we want to make sure people are connecting. I know you're all sitting with your colleagues. We're going to push you out of your comfort zone. The people online, we want to make sure that you are able to connect with this session. So we encourage you to put your questions in the chat. We've got multiple people monitoring the chat, and we will be having those dialogues come through. The FeedLoop app that is used is a tool that can be a connection for the people who are in the room and coming from home. I'm from the bottom of Australia, so it took the Australians in the room a really, really long time to get here. And I'm glad that I came a few days ago, because I think my jet lag has finally just subsided and I can actually have a brain-voice connection. So hopefully I'm making some sense. So we really encourage those online to use the FeedLoop app. You can message people directly, or you can use the chat function. So we are going to try and get everyone to connect, whether it be virtually or in the room. So the idea of this session is that we are going to start to get you to talk to each other. I know when I attended my first conference, probably it was in Sydney in 2012, and I tell Sarah Feldman this story now, that I'd read an article that she'd written that then inspired me to do some things in Melbourne. It probably took me 7 years to get the courage to go and talk to her at the next conference in Perth. But I don't want that to be the case for everyone. I know there are a lot of new first-time attendees in the room. We want everyone to talk to each other. We want the new attendees. It is the 29th year today that I graduated from uni. So, and I know Sarah's looking at retiring. We've got to kind of pass on some of this knowledge that we have learnt from just doing to the new people coming up, to pass on the legacy, to use that tool to be able to help the people that we're so passionate about. So this is really about connection. We're also just winging this. So, you know, this is an interactive session. You don't get to listen to us for hours.
Yeah, so I just want to introduce myself. I am an allied professional. I'm a psychologist from Colombia, South America, from Acela, but I'm also a former caregiver for my dad who had ALS. So I want to hear, let's see what professions we have and what kind of, if you're a caregiver, if you're a PALS, a person living with ALS, sorry, PALS.
I probably should have introduced myself, sorry. So I'm Sarah, I'm an OT from Australia. I work at the
What
MND
is an OT?
team.
For people
I'm
that
an
don't
occupational therapist. I help people do the things that they want to do, whatever that is. If anyone was in the conference last year, you would have seen that I push the boundaries around helping people smoke or have sex or whatever. I don't care what they want to do. It's not my... And I think, weirdly enough, I'm one of the few people that work in the MND space that was already working in the MND space where, weirdly enough, 4 years into my journey, my mum was diagnosed with MND. So I don't work here because of that. That just added to my, my passion, I think. So I went home to the bottom of Western Australia and cared for her. So I bring a personal view to this. I know what it's like to be a caregiver, as does Marcella. And so I think that does bring a different angle to our passion.
Yeah.
So we can see, just to let those people online know, we can see the things that are going on in the chat.
I'm not on my phone because I want to, because I'm a millennial. I'm actually talking to people. I'm actually talking to people, so if everybody should have this downloaded, there's a QR at the table. Let's start talking. For example, we know Philip from the motor neuron disease in Kenya. It's his first session. He's online. He's been really active member these couple of days. So if you could help Philip and his team with devices, with information, sharing resources, text him through the app, Philip Langa.
And I certainly know that the beautiful Melinda, who is there, is very engaged in helping some of the countries like Vietnam and South Africa also help develop their services. So we want to be helping the development of the services for people in other countries. So we're seeing some beautiful messages come through. There's an OT from Montreal working with ALS people. There is lots of people who are former caregivers. Good morning, Helen. Helen Carey, OT originally from Wales, now lives in Florida.
So let's see the room. How many people here are people living with ALS? Make yourself heard. Come on, let me see the hands. Make a noise. Something I want to see.
We've got some over there, some here. I know Leanne's over there from Australia, fellow Australian.
Where's Sunny? Oh,
hey, up the back there.
Okay, caregivers or former caregivers, raise your hand. Let's see.
There.
Raise your hands.
Over here.
Okay. What about OTs?
Yeah, occupational therapists. Oh, my people. Come find me.
Neurologists, doctors, physicians?
Probably not so many. Oh, there are.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for coming to the LA APF.
What else?
Speech pathologists.
Ooh.
Yeah. Or speech and language therapists, depending on what part of the world you come from. Nutritionists, dietitians.
Yay. Mental health professionals.
Oh, you're in the way. Social work. Oh, big.
That's the crowd.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then we probably have a lot of people who are Yeah, people
Physical
who...
therapists.
Oh, physical therapists. Sorry, Sarah.
Are we missing
Sorry,
any?
Tim, online.
What? Nurses.
Yeah.
I love how much.
And then we probably have a lot of people that work in non-allied health roles who are also supporting the people with MND. So I know in Australia we have bereavement, we have counsellors, we have the MND advisors, we have all sorts of people that are supporting these people through non-allied health roles, but are so integral and important in people's journeys. Hands up if you're working for an MND association, if you're working for a palliative care service, bereavement, counselling. Yeah, there we are, over there.
True. I love the interaction online. If you're seeing the chat, well, everybody here is seeing the chat, but we have Rick from Canada. He's online. We have Adriana Leico, speech language therapist from Brazil. Karen Hammer, former friend, caregiver, and social worker. Who else here has the two? You're a former caregiver and also work in health as a health professional for ALS. Raise your hand. Well, you kind of are, yeah.
Yeah.
Band tour. Okay, interesting.
Respiratory therapy. See, in Australia, yay!
Genetic counselors.
Genetic counselors. That's one we missed.
Wow.
There are so many people helping people. And I think as Allied Health, as this kind of this community, that we can all help each other. I know where I work, I don't do anything without my colleagues, whether it's the nurses in the clinic, the social workers, the physios, the speechies, the dietitians, everybody. It's always about a multidisciplinary team.
Yeah.
Please say something if I'm talking too fast.
I want to shout out to the people online. We have 127 people connected right now worldwide, so a shout out to them. And I also want to see how global we are in this scenario. So we're going to start with the host. Canada, raise your hand. People from Canada.
Oi!
Shocking. US, USA. Great. Mexico.
Oi!
This is her first meeting, by the way, so don't be shy, talk to her. They also need a lot of resources and learn about ourselves. Who else from, I'm gonna be biased, Colombia. What other countries? Europe, let's do Europe. Spain.
Hey, we can't go through every single country.
Australia.
Australia. There's a few of us from Australia. We got Leanne. We got
UK.
And I know there's a number of Australians online.
Asia. Oh, I'm just gonna say Asia.
Yeah,
that's
Asia.
a lot.
Any Asian country that's very large, kind of.
Asia people, where are you? Amazing. Thank you for being here.
Europe, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, anywhere in Europe. We'll take Europe as a very large.
Brazil, we have someone online in Brazil.
Anywhere in South America. Apart from Colombia and Mexico.
Argentina, of course.
Argentina. I know there's people online in Brazil. I know there's someone online, I think, from Chile. Sorry, just looking. So the fact that we are this amazing global community and that there are countries, I know we heard about Argentina yesterday, they're doing some research about where the people are, what they need. Like, I know that the health services are really different in all of the countries, talking to my US colleagues, but the fact is what we want to do is the same. We want to help people have good quality of life. We want to help people do the things they want to do.
We're fighting the same fight.
We're fighting the same fight. And whether it be knowledge, resource, just the developing countries learning from the countries that have maybe gone further along a journey, that's what we want to share. I know that it is really okay for people whose first conference it is to come up and talk to us that have been doing this a while. Don't take the 7 years it took me to talk to Sarah Feldman. Do it now. Life is short. make the connection, send the text. Oh, Kenya.
Yeah,
Philip.
that's Philip.
Hello, Philip.
Love you, Philip.
We heard Philip talk virtually yesterday.
So I want to set an example, for example, of this collaboration we're mentioning. For example, Dr. Melinda Kavanaugh, which we love, of course.
Melinda, put your hand up. Everybody talk to Melinda. She loves the chat.
She has done, correct me if I'm wrong, but she works with children of patients that have ALS, and she has done documents of how to talk to ALS for these children. She kindly we met her a couple of years ago, and she said, you can translate those documents to Spanish. She gave us the authorization, and now we have that in our Colombian Association, and it has been translated to how many languages worldwide? 13 languages.
13 languages.
So if you want to talk about this subject to your people, to your community of ALS, ask Melinda for that. She will gladly share that. And that's the kind of collaboration we're looking for here. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're going to say this many times this week, but that's the whole point of being in this room together and virtual audience.
Just wanted to say that Jean, is Jean in the room?
Yeah.
We heard Jean talk. I can't actually see anything.
Yeah.
Jean from End the Legacy, which is a patient-led organisation for families with genetic ALS. We heard some amazing things from her yesterday. So if there are other people in the room that want to learn about that, Jean, Paula, they're your people. They're over there in the middle. Wave, Paula, put your hand up.
I also want to shout out, of course, my girl, Sunny. Sunny Browse, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
In the back. She's from a group called Her ALS Story, and Leah, which I think I saw Leah over there. Yeah, Leah's the founder and president of Her ALS Story. If you don't know this, you should. They founded a support group, a WhatsApp chat, for women that have been diagnosed with ALS under 35 years old. Woo. Everybody can be on that chat, and they talk about going out, dating, healthcare, anything, partying, anything they want to talk about. It's a safe space. So if you have any, know of anyone that fits this criteria, get in contact with Sunny or Leah, because there's a lot of people.
There's a lot of knowledge that they have that they can share with us to help other people. I think those of us who've had the lived experience of caregiving or really embrace the information that people living with their ALS will give us to then help others is so powerful. Yeah. Right, we may have gone a little bit on a tangent.
What keeps you up at night?
Okay. So, we are going to do, oh, is that you? No. That's you. You talk.
We said we were improvising. Okay, I want to know, talk between you, but I want to know what keeps you up at night. What's that challenge you're facing right now that you would like to get help while you're here this couple of days or this week?
Where I'm going to challenge you though, because you're all sitting with people you know.
Italy.
So I want those round tables full of people, can you all like split in half and then turn to the table behind you or to the table next to you? We just want people to start talking to each other. There is so much. Now you're going to have to give a little like talk after this. There's a lot of people in the room. We might not get through everyone, but just start talking. We want you to talk about what do you need? What keeps you up at night? What can't you do in your current role that you want to do? Yeah, good one. Do we have to go get microphones? Do we have to go get microphones now?
No, there are the people. I love this.
We're nailing it.
So what time do we go? 10 to 15 minutes? Karen says,
what's the time?
9:45.
Okay.
Also, don't reference too much the Alliance meeting because a lot of people weren't at the Alliance meeting, so it's a little bit alien. So so
Don't exclude, include.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. But otherwise,
Are we talking too fast?
no, you're good.
For those people online, please either talk to people, like send someone a message.
Or in the chat.
Or just run it in the chat, because we are including everything in the chat. We want people online to feel a part of this. There is 2 people monitoring the chat and we can see the screen, so we can translate things.
Karen is saying family affordability of this disease until we have a cure. ALS is bad enough. The choices faced by the whole family can be cruel.
Lynn, poor sleep, keeping you up at night. I did a talk with the neurologist from the clinic that I work in last week around fatigue and insomnia. So if you send me a message, I can send you that chat or send you that presentation or send it to your therapists.
Helen says, I wake up at night thinking how I can encourage more students to be a part of research in ALS. We love you, Helen. Yes. If anybody has any ideas for Helen, contact her.
Maybe we'll do it at the end. Where are my peeps in Australia? Come on, online peeps. I know Jane Turton. I know you're listening. This is the little project that I've been involved in this year, and we're presenting tomorrow, so I'm going to stop.
Helen Carey says, if there's people from other countries on here with access to allied health students, contact me. We can try and work together. I lost Richard Bedlag. Hey, doctor. I won't sleep well until we end this disease. Yes, shout out to Richard.
Philip, we are listening to you. He reflects back home in Kenya and across Africa. So many patients I visit cannot communicate, cannot afford Riluzole, and are unable to move or do anything to the lack of assistive devices. We're so passionate about trying to help you, Richard.
Philip, I don't know, his name is
Philip. Sorry, Philip. I'm looking at Richard Bedlack above you.
We have gotten assistive devices donated to my association in Colombia thanks to this collaboration. So we'll be in touch. I'll let you know how we did it. But there's a lot of people in this room that are willing to send devices to you. So just keep in touch and we'll make that happen, definitely.
Philip, just letting you know that after yesterday, it got something in my waters going. So we will be in touch.
Deb says, agree with more support for ALS clinics to be able to have more time and resources to help PALS with optimizing everyday activities and living. Yes.
Absolutely. I just want to say, Philip, we hear you loud and clear, and I know that the world is wanting to help. You are welcome. I know that the people, Philip, here in Australia were immediately after we heard you yesterday, were talking about what we can do to help.
Shipping a container.
Shipping a container. We were literally sitting there going, we could ship a container, and I would love to come over to Africa. There's a message in the chat about Dr. Bedlack can talk about how philanthropy can support clinics. Keep the chat going, people. We know we can see it. We want to hear what people online want to talk about. What information do you want to share? What information would you need? What information do you want from your colleagues?
We have 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
So we might as well end now so we can get...
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you're not on.
Hello. Okay, guys, I know everybody's so excited talking and you want to keep this conversation going, but we do want to share what you talked in your tables. So please.
All right, everybody. I'm gonna get my Aussie farm girl voice on.
There's two types of
I know that you are loving the talk, but we want to hear what you, in your tables, were talking about.
Okay, so we're gonna pick around 4 or 5 tables, depending on time. Who wants to say what their challenge is? And once you raise your hand, someone with a microphone will go.
Oh yeah, go Sarah.
Thank you. Does somebody want to share what they talked in their table? Who's the first volunteer? I can't really see with this light.
We can't see what's going on, so. I'm gonna pick the middle table there.
Hello.
Oh, well, I can't see where you are.
I'm over here.
All right.
Oh.
Hey.
Hey, we had a representation from India, from Ireland, the United States, and Australia at our table, and Canada. Sorry, whoops. I feel Kathy breathing down my neck now. But we had varying challenges, obviously, from varying parts of the world, from India, and just a lack of resources, a lack of knowledge base with the medical professionals, lack of financial support, lack of education. And so the challenges in India are surmounting. But this gentleman obviously cared for his father, and they continue. And I think now the support group there in India has almost 700 members focused in on fighting ALS. And so their challenges are great, but obviously being here and can maybe get some of those challenges. Everywhere from Australia and the United States, the same thing with us, which is where you live and who you are, and maybe your socioeconomic status dictates the type of care and the quality of care that you get. And that is a big challenge. For Kathy, it's a small but mighty team that serves a whole international community. And then for our researchers, Niels and things in the back, it's about getting patients involved and interested in basic science and getting the research community connected to that. And so just a very different challenges at our table. But I think with the knowledge sharing here, hopefully we can help support each other in those challenges.
I think that seems to be a reoccurring theme across the world. And I know Alicia from MND New South Wales in Australia, hi love, the difference between access to AT and service between younger and older people in Australia is a thing. And I know talking to my US colleagues last night, just as you said, the disparity between where you live, what you do. So that just general kind of inequality of service and care seems to be a theme. Who's next?
Well, Hey, I'm going to speak for the virtual room. So we had from all over the world. We had from Kenya, from the States, from Canada, but a few of the things that came up was family affordability of this disease until we have a cure. The choices faced by the whole family can be cruel. Lynn mentioned the poor sleep is keeping him up at night. That more research would be really useful about that. Helen Carey, she's also encouraging students to be part of research in ALS, and she's happy for people to connect directly with her, so her details are in the virtual room. Lisbeth also mentioned equal access to support systems regardless of age, place of residence, and they keep coming, so please everyone go in and connect.
Yeah. Who else in the room wants to share what they talked in their table?
I'll I'll talk here. So I kind of stole the conversation, but one of the things that we mentioned, of course, was jet lag from our poor people that had to travel. But from a personal perspective, one of the things that I discussed is I'm somebody on tofersen and has actually experienced quite a bit of success using the drug. And what keeps me up at night is that there's people globally who don't have access to the drug. It's not approved in their country. They don't have the facilities to offer it. And I mean, there's a lot of logistics around trying to get that drug. And so these people who are in a position who really need this drug now just can't get it. And that's what keeps me up.
It does seem like the inequality in generally, whether it be medication to assist, assistive technology, therapy services, clinic availability. I know with my mum, she lived, and in Australia, our service is very well developed, but she lived 4 hours away from where the clinic was. And back then, we didn't really have telehealth. So I understand the challenges of those living in rural, remote communities, whether it be in a developing country or a country that is still developing their services.
Yeah. I have a challenge I want to share from Colombia. It's patients that have a ventilator in Colombia are not allowed to leave their houses or clinics. They have to be, I know, because the insurance company doesn't cover the ventilator outside of the home. Crazy, but that's a challenge that we face every day there. So besides being locked in their body, they're locked in a house. So we're trying to change that, but that keeps me up at night to this day.
I can imagine. There must be some more people.
One more. I saw hands, but it's too bright.
I know. Come on, people.
One last one. Who wants to share?
Hey.
Over there. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Deirdre from Dublin, and at our table we had somebody who's an occupational therapist from Montreal and somebody who's an occupational therapist from Vancouver and a person living with ALS. So we thought he'd be the best person to lead the conversation. And what he said was the thing that keeps him up at night is pain. And that when you're diagnosed with ALS, you are told that it is a painless condition, and that's actually not true, and that we do as healthcare professionals always need to remember to ask, because there's so many other things that we need to focus on, and asking about respiratory symptoms and mobility and things like that, that sometimes we forget to ask about pain, and it is a treatable, manageable symptom.
Yeah.
So I think is that fair enough, Norm? Is that? Yeah.
That is, I think, a really good thing for allied health professionals to understand. I don't know, Norm, if you, having talked to many people over the years, there's the physical pain, whether it be from fasciculations, from cramps, from torsion on joints. And I may be well outside my realm saying this, but the existential pain, I think, kept my mum up at night. The 3 o'clock in the morning, brain churning was something that the sleep, the pain, and so I think as allied health professionals to really think beyond the physical pain when looking at maybe assisting people with this concept, whether it be physical or, you know, emotional pain. Sorry, Norm, I hope that was okay to say.
Yeah.
One other aspect that is not often mentioned is because my speech is affected. I often stay up at night worried that in my effort to simplify what I said, maybe I offended someone or gave the wrong impression.
I get it, yeah. I think that's a really good point. We may have one more.
No, I actually want to give homework to people.
Oh, homework.
So, 2 homeworks. The first one, try every time you come back from another session, try sitting at a different table. Let's make people sit with new people and get to know the people that you're sitting around in that table. For the virtual audience, I have homework for you too. If you like a presentation from someone, you can message those people directly, or if you want to talk to someone here in this room and people that are in this room, check your app because you're going to get messages from the people in the virtual audience. So there's the 2 homeworks. Do you want to give homework or that's enough?
Well, I think if any of the OTs in the room want to come and catch up, I would love to talk to you. I've already connected, thank you Rachel, with Philippa from Oxford. And I just think we have so much to share, so much to do. Don't take 7 years to talk to someone like I did. Like, we all are here fighting the same fight.
So that brings to the end of our session.
Yes. So look, I think the overwhelming theme of this is talk to your colleagues, share information. We're all doing amazing things. Let's not silo it into the area that we are working in, whether it be geographical or environmental. No, that's probably the same. Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, thank you everybody. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you so much. That was such a great icebreaker in a sense. I do feel bad for the people who are jet lagged. I do apologize that you had to talk to other people so early in the morning for you. And I did want to mention, if you haven't checked out the International Alliance website, you might want to go look at that website and look at the fundamental rights document that has been written up for people living with ALS and for caregivers of people living with ALS. It's a very nice set of guidelines for what kind of care and what kind of services we recommend that people get around the world. And it's a great starting point for anyone in anyone's country to look and see, what should the baseline be. And now, before we take our break, I'd like to invite Kathy Cummings to speak and introduce a new feature of the conference this year, the Day in the Life Suite.
Thank you, Sarah. Don't go too far because I might have to call on you again. I'm actually going to talk about a couple of other things first, with apologies to Jessica. I'm not even going to look at her. I've added a couple of notes to my notes. Sarah and the other Sarah and Marcella introduced the concept of homework. And last year at the Alliance meeting in Basel, we had the amazing opportunity to see the film Lukey and the Lights from Global Neuro Y Care, supported by the ALS Association as well. They did a launch at the meeting last year, and we learned all about Easter eggs. And I didn't know what Easter eggs were, but apparently when you put something in a movie that represents something else, that's called an Easter egg. So I'm going to sprinkle a couple of Easter eggs into what you're hearing today, because we are playing a game tonight at our reception. And it's Family Feud. There will be the motors against the neurons. And you're going to hear more about this later. But I just wanted to talk about the colors of the Alliance. So there's been a couple of people here for a few days now, and there's one day where there was a whole group wearing pink, and another day where there was a whole group wearing red. Apparently today is purple, but I didn't bring anything purple, so I'm wearing black. That made me think about why the Alliance color is teal, and this happened long before my time. The reason that the Alliance color is teal is because it's not in the flag of any country, so there's no bias in the Alliance. It is neutral, and we're aspirational for everyone in the world. So I just wanted to add that little piece of information in. That's my Easter egg for this year. And then one other thing that I've added in is that we have a raffle this year. The Alliance very much wants to include people with lived experience in everything that we do, and we're trying to support that by having a raffle this year. It is right across from the registration desk. It should be set up by the time you go out to have your break, or in the process of setting up. We're not very good at this. We're kind of new at it, so we only have one point of sale terminal. So don't all rush there right at once, but throughout the next 2 days, you can buy some tickets. They're going to be sold in lengths of 10, so you just divide them in half, and you get to put your ticket in whatever prize bag that you want to win. So they're all identified, and you keep your half of the ticket and put the ticket in the other prize bag. So hopefully you'll be able to help us raise some money to continue to include people with lived experience in all the meetings that are happening around the world for research, care, advocacy, and so on. So as Sarah said, we have this fantastic new experience that we've added to this meeting. We've been trying to add more experiential items to our meetings over the last couple of years, and this year we've created a Day in the Life experience suite. It's Suite 701 in the hotel, and we've transformed that suite into an apartment for someone living with ALS-MND, and we've equipped it with technology and devices that help them do everyday tasks and so much more. It's your chance to get hands-on with the devices and the tools that people use, and to see what else is out there in the ALS-MND community. If you haven't already signed up for a time to experience it, we can't all go at once, unfortunately. It's not big enough. So you do have to sign up for a certain time. There's a QR code at the registration desk. Just scan that QR code and pick a time that you want to go up and see the suite. I would like to thank Jarnell Chudge and Angelique Gilchrist-Blanchard from the Alliance team who organized this for us, and our many generous contributors and sponsors, including Trinity College Dublin, Acapella Group, Emotion Food Company, Simply Thick, University Laval, Neil Squire Society, ProBed Medical, Silvert's Adaptive Clothing and Footwear, Stan Cassidy Center for Rehab, at the Horizon Health Network, Tech Owl, Your ALS Guide, ALS Quebec, ALS Canada, the ALS Association, Fight MND, and so many more. And one of our sponsors of the Day in the Life Suite is the ALS Hope Foundation, so I'm going to ask Sarah to say a few words.
Thank you, Kathy. So the ALS Hope Foundation was founded in 1999 by Dr. Terry Hyman Patterson and Dr. Jeffrey Deach, and we're located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So we are honored to have spent the last 25 years serving the ALS community, and we're committed to continuing to serve the ALS community until there's a cure. Our mission is based on 3 pillars: care, education, and research. We provide this care at the multidisciplinary clinic, the MDA ALS Center of Hope in Philadelphia at Temple University. I do have to give a shout out to the members of my team who came today as well. Yay, way in the back corner. I guess they didn't want to sit up front. I would have put them to work. We also do research through the Dr. Robert Sinnott ALS Research Lab, and we do clinical trials and studies at the clinic. For education, we support events like this. We support collaboration, including working with Your ALS Guide, with End the Legacy, with NEALS, and with many other organizations, probably too many to name, and I will leave someone out, so I apologize. The APF this meeting began in 2003 in Milan. And at that meeting, Dr. Jeffrey Deitch, one of our co-founders, said, this is an important meeting. This meeting for allied health professionals is super important, and that's where the beginning of the ALS Hope Foundation supporting this type of education began. And that began in 2004 then, when it was in Philadelphia, which I mentioned before. At that meeting in Philadelphia, we had people come over to the hospital next door to where we worked to show them a suite that we had, where we had, at the time, assistive technology that people who were spending the night in the hospital could use. People with ALS and their caregivers, they could use it if it was something they were using at home, or they could try it if they had never seen it before. And when I went up to the suite yesterday to take a look at it beforehand, I had a flashback to that time. Now, some of you, if you're old enough, if I tell you we had a Dyna Wright in the room and we had a Relax 3, a Tash to run the television. We had a television with a big, whatever the big fat ones were. You'll see when you go upstairs where the technology has moved from then. But it was really just a great connection for me personally to see what's being shown today and to think back to that time in 2004. And I think, to talk to my team and to everyone here just personally, Jeffrey Deitch lost his battle with brain cancer in 2013. I think he would be, I practice this too. You can do it. He would be very proud of what the APF is today, where it's over 2 days and we had the master classes ahead of time, and he would be very proud to be supporting the Day in the Life Suite. So thank you. I do invite you all to go see that, as well as see you back here at 10:55.
Thanks, Sarah. Sarah brought up a memory for me when she was talking, because my mom lived with ALS from 2000 to 2005, and my dad was a very DIY kind of guy, and he was a little bit hard of hearing. My mom was 68-ish, 69-ish, and my dad was 73 and super hard of hearing. And she didn't want him hanging around all the time in their condo. So he rigged up a wireless doorbell for her to wear on a lanyard around her neck so she could summons him when she wanted him and get rid of him when she didn't want him there. And it was perfect. And so to me, that's the spirit of the suite. We have both DIY stuff and things that allied health professionals would recommend as well. We reached out to our Pals and Cals Advisory Council to ask them, what's the most important thing for you that you use in your everyday life? And we got some fantastic ideas, from those head massagers that are like spiders on your head, to massage boots, and just the whole gamut is there, including we have in the suite bubbles. to blow if you want to blow some bubbles, because Orlando Ruiz from Colombia says that's how he does his respiratory exercises. So anyway, enjoy the suite, enjoy the break. We'll see you back here at 10:55.
Texas sun. Texas sun. Oh, baby, you're so gorgeous.